Support for this podcast comes from Plum. Plum is a revolutionary workforce solutions provider that knows when people flourish, business thrives. With their powerful new platform, Plum Thrive, you can unlock science-based data to help you measure and match human potential to job needs. Plum Thrive provides personalized career insights, improves quality of hire, and creates high-performing teams from a single, simple-to-use platform. Want to learn more? Visit www.plum.io and discover all the ways that Plum can help you thrive.
There's been more of scientific discovery, more of technical advancement and material progress in your lifetime and mine than in all the ages of history.
Hi there, this is Matt Alder. Welcome to the February Roundup episode of Recruiting Future. If you're new to Roundup, it's a short review of the episodes that I've published in the last month, making sure you don't miss out on the valuable insights my guests are sharing. Before we start, a big thank you to Plum for their support of Roundup. Their pragmatic and innovative approach to skills-based thinking continues to make waves in the industry. So check out plum.io to learn more. In a few short weeks' time, Recruiting Future will be celebrating its 10th birthday, 700th episode, and 3 millionth download. This is quite some set of milestones, and they've really made me reflect on the future of the podcast. I'm not going to radically change a winning formula, but I have realised that I can make some small changes to help make the podcast even better and give you even more value in return for the time that you spend listening to it. So I've been building out a content framework for 2025 that will make the podcast a weekly must-listen. I'll be talking about that much more soon, but in the meantime, I'm restructuring these Roundup episodes to make them more listener-friendly. Rather than talk through last month's episodes in chronological order, I'm grouping them into themes that reflect the most pressing areas TA teams should be concerned with. The first theme is Foresight. It's impossible to predict the future, but that doesn't mean you can't plan for it and shape it. There is even more disruption heading our way, and it's critical that we're all doing everything that we can to stay one step ahead. Talent acquisition is evolving faster than ever. With AI reshaping the hiring landscape, skills gaps widening across industries, and businesses facing constant disruption, the role of TA leaders is shifting significantly. It's no longer just about hiring. It's about breaking down silos, driving workforce transformation, and ensuring companies have the right talent to stay competitive. So what does this mean for TA leaders? How can they move beyond being reactive and take on a more strategic role in shaping the future of work? And with the rise of fractional and interim TA leadership, is this the next big shift in how companies access talent expertise? My guest on episode 679 was Virginia Tirado, an experienced TA and talent leader who's seen firsthand how the function is evolving. In our conversation, she shared her insights on the growing need for skills-based hiring, how TA leaders can build strong partnerships across their businesses, and why embracing change is the key to staying relevant in an uncertain future. AI isn't just a technology revolution. It's a people and talent revolution. AI could transform businesses at every level, but many HR and TA teams are still on the sidelines. The reality is that AI adoption, workforce transformation, and enterprise strategy aren't just IT or executive priorities. They're fundamentally people challenges. So how are CPOs and CHROs currently thinking? And what should they do to shape the future? My guest on episode 683 was Laura Caccaro, Chief People Officer at iCIMS. With access to one of the world's most comprehensive hiring datasets, Laura has a unique perspective on the intersection of AI, talent, and business strategy. In our conversation, we discussed why HR must take ownership of AI's impact on the workforce, how businesses can future-proof their talent strategies, and what talent leaders need to do now to stay ahead of the curve. The second theme we're covering in this roundup is influence. There can sometimes be a sense of managed helplessness around TA as budgets are cut and teams are shrunk. Building influence with key stakeholders and strategic decision makers within the business has therefore never been more important. According to Gartner, 83% of HR technology buying decisions end in regret. In a world where talent acquisition is more complex and business critical than ever, why are so many organisations making talent investments they later wish they hadn't? The challenge isn't just about picking the right tool, it's about proving its value, winning stakeholder buy-in, and ensuring it delivers tangible business outcomes. Buying talent acquisition technology has never been more challenging. Economic uncertainty, increasing stakeholder scrutiny, and the rapid pace of innovation means that making the right decision and proving its value can feel like an uphill battle. With so much information available, how do TA leaders ensure they're making the best possible choice while also securing the budget and support they need? My guest on episode 680 was Matt Sharp, SVP of Go-to-Market and General Manager of EMEA at iCIMS. Matt shared expert insights into how organisations can navigate the complexities of building a compelling business case, engaging vendors more strategically, ultimately making technology decisions they won't regret. What if everything we thought about how organisations function was wrong? For decades, businesses have been structured around hierarchies and rigid processes, assuming this was the best way to manage talent, collaboration, and leadership. But what if the real key to high performance and better talent acquisition lies not in org charts, but in networks? The emerging discipline of network science has quietly been reshaping everything from social media to healthcare. So, how do networks really shape the way organisations function? And could a deeper understanding of them change how we hire, engage, and retain talent? My guest on episode 682 was Jeffrey Beeson, a leadership strategist and expert in organisational networks. Jeffrey's work focuses on how businesses can optimise collaboration, unlock hidden influences, and rethink traditional hierarchies using the principles of network science. We discussed how understanding an organisation's internal network can improve hiring decisions, enhance onboarding, and increase retention by fostering stronger workplace connections. In the middle of all the disruption and technological advancement, there is a revolution going on in how we think about talent and skills, and this is our next theme. For as long as we can all remember, hiring has been built around resumes detailing previous experience, qualifications, job titles, and technical skills. But in a world where jobs are changing faster than ever, the skills that seem essential today can quickly become obsolete tomorrow. Hard skills are perishable, but durable skills like adaptability, problem solving, and teamwork are now the real predictors of long-term success. So, how can companies move beyond outdated hiring practices and focus on what really matters? And what does this shift towards durable skills mean for hiring managers and job seekers looking to future-proof their careers? My guest on episode 678 was Caitlin McGregor, CEO and co-founder of Plum. Caitlin is a massive advocate for hiring based on durable skills and the science behind this. She shared why resumes are no longer enough and why focusing on durable skills could be the key to long-term success for employers and employees. Have you ever wondered how an elite baseball player can track a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and actually connect? Or how a Premier League footballer can deliver a perfect pass over half the pitch to a moving teammate? The way elite athletes develop their attributes and build skills has big lessons for how we need to think about talent and hiring in the workplace. We've been discussing skills-based hiring and skills-based organisations for a while now. As the need for skills agility grows, we must deepen our understanding of attributes, skills, and potential to make better hiring decisions. One area that uses cutting-edge science to do this is elite sport. My guest on episode 674 was Dr. Daniel Labey, a sports vision ophthalmologist who works with elite athletes such as England and Liverpool footballer Trent Alexander-Arnold, and top baseball teams including the Chicago Cubs and the Boston Red Sox. This was a really fascinating discussion, with some important lessons for HR and talent acquisition. For example, why we should emphasise future potential over past performance, the importance of recognising that sometimes there's a specific order in which skills need to be developed, and why average can sometimes be mistaken for best in skills assessment. At a time when DE&I initiatives are facing increasing hostility, it's more important than ever to highlight the real value of inclusive hiring. Beyond being the right thing to do, inclusive hiring broadens talent pools, fosters innovation, and ensures that organisations tap into the full spectrum of people's skills and potential. But what does true accessibility in hiring look like? And how can companies create recruitment processes that are genuinely fair for everyone? My guest on episode 675 was Ron Fish, Global Talent Acquisition Leader at Avanti, and a passionate advocate for disability inclusion in the workplace. Ron is at the forefront of championing accessibility, not just to comply with regulations, but to build environments where everyone can succeed. Talent acquisition is fundamentally about people making decisions. But how often do we stop to consider why people make the decisions they do? Whether it's a recruiter screening a resume, a hiring manager assessing a candidate, or a successful applicant deciding whether to accept the role, behavioural science plays a role in every step of the process. Yet, despite its power, the psychology of hiring goes unnoticed, operating in the background rather than being used strategically. What if we could harness it to improve candidate experience, reduce bias, and make hiring more effective? On episode 676, my guest was Stephen Riley, an experienced global talent acquisition and talent transformation specialist. In our conversation, he explained how behavioural science and psychology influence hiring, why recognising these patterns is critical, and how TA leaders can apply these insights to transform their processes. Our final theme is technology, the biggest disruptor that is sitting at the centre of the change in talent acquisition. 11 years ago, I wrote a blog post with a title that asked the question, can you replace a recruiter with an algorithm? It provoked an instant reaction and a resounding no from everyone who read it. Fast forward to the present day, and technology has moved on exponentially. But the debate about technology replacing what have always been considered very human aspects of recruiting remains as emotionally charged as it always has been. The mental models and cultural norms around recruiting run deep. But are we having the right debate? Perhaps the real shift isn't about AI replacing recruiters, it's about how quickly recruiters can rethink their role and let go of outdated assumptions. There are several recruiting tasks that AI can already do much better than humans, and the scope is only going to increase. So what's left for recruiters? How do we redefine the role of talent acquisition in an AI-driven world? And why is mindset the most critical factor in whether AI becomes a threat or an opportunity? My guest on episode 677 was Nikos Morakakis, CEO of Workable. In our wide-ranging conversation, we discussed the advancing cognitive ability of AI and how it's changing the way we need to think about what it means to be a recruiter. People are worried, though, about the use of AI in recruiting. Headlines warn us that artificial intelligence might amplify biases and automate unfairness. Regulators are scrambling to introduce legislation, and talent acquisition leaders are cautious about adopting these new tools. But is this fear causing us to miss the much bigger picture? When implemented intentionally and responsibly, could AI become one of the most powerful tools we've ever had for reducing systemic bias and creating fairer hiring practices? Recruiting processes often prioritise speed and familiarity over fairness and inclusion, and in so doing, reinforce existing biases. With AI becoming increasingly integrated into hiring, Many worry that this technology will amplify bias even more. However, some recently published research suggests this assumption doesn't tell the whole story. My guest on episode 682 was Torrin Ellis, an experienced recruiter, DEIB strategist, and high-profile advocate for fair and inclusive hiring. Torrin recently published research in collaboration with Plum, specifically highlighting how organisations that use AI in an intentional way are seeing significant improvements in diversifying their candidate slates and expanding their talent pools. He believes that AI can create a more level playing field for all candidates if it's properly deployed. Torrin also emphasises that the risks of AI-driven biases are real, and recruiters need to approach AI thoughtfully and responsibly. A huge thank you to Workable, Plum, iCIMS and Paradox for sponsoring Recruiting Future during the month of February. So onwards into March, and I'm very much looking forward to attending the Transform conference in Las Vegas from the 17th to the 19th. I'm going to be doing some recording at the show, as well as a live stream on LinkedIn the evening before it starts. So don't miss out on this or any of the other interviews coming up in March. Make sure you subscribe to Recruiting Future wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks very much for listening. I'll be back next time, and I hope you'll join me.
This is my show.